guys, it's Mia Redrick here, the mom strategist. I'm excited about this topic today. I'm going to be teaching today, divorce is more expensive. Yeah, divorce is a lot more expensive than just dating. Yeah, divorce is more expensive than dating. I know you want to know how. You're going to love this scope. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist, and I support clients with life and business success. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com. Hey, Shayla, at miaredrick.com. Hey, darling, mind, body, queen. Good to see you. I'm so excited about this scope today because I'm going to break this down. Now, this is for those of you, my dog agrees, this is for those of you who are, truly, struggling in this dating arena, whether you are a guy, whether you are a girl, whether you've been married for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, it will not matter. I really want to support you here, and I want this to be, let's say, a check and balance, all right? I'm Mia Redrick, the mom strategist. I support clients with life and business success. For those of you who are new to my scopes, it's nice to virtually meet you. Aren't you guys awesome, Shayla? It's nice to virtually meet you. When I got started in my business, guys, 13 years ago, I just had the simple desire to go to work as myself. And that meant that I wanted to do work that I love that combined my background as a corporate trainer and my love of motherhood into a business. And I had no idea how I could do that. Fast forward, it's been 13 years. I've helped 600 clients personally literally build their brands from scratch, create products based on their education, their gifts, their know-how, their MD, their PhD, their JD, motherhood. It doesn't matter. And one of the things that I do that's really unique is that I teach people that they are product, and I show them how they can package their gifts and their know-how into monetizable products that you can sell from the comfort of your home. I think one of the things that's really unique about the way I built my business is I'm a coach, as you guys know, but I built my business from the comfort of my home. I didn't build my business going on the road or in a speaking business. Literally, I built my business from home, all right? And if, in fact, that is something that is of interest to you, then you're going to love my scopes. You need to check out some other ones on YouTube. There are several here also on Periscope. And if you're not getting my newsletter list, why not? Okay, miaredrick.com. As a result of being an entrepreneur, there are perks. And I always say, look, the reason you build a solid multiple six-figure business that's sustainable, I've been a full-time entrepreneur for over a decade, is so that you can enjoy those perks. And for me, one of those perks is that I get to date my husband. You like this one? I date my husband in the middle of the week because guess what? I'm free and he's free. He's a full-time entrepreneur also. And so tonight's scope, I just want to shake your shoulders on this, guys, is that I want you to understand that divorce is way more expensive than dating. And I want to break down for you some of the benefits to me of having had the great privilege to be able to date my husband for the last 21 years. And my only goal is just to, I'm really trying to sell dating tonight. That's what I'm selling tonight. I'm selling dating, all right? And there's some benefits, I believe, of dating and what it will do. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. If you guys are ready, then just say, I'm ready, Mia, and we're going to get started. I'm ready, Mia, all right? The fact of the matter is, Pat and I, we met like 21 years ago. We met in July. He proposed in November, and we got married 6 weeks later. And we had our kids 3 years later, in case anybody out there was wondering about that. But the one thing that we always did, no matter what, whether we were happy, whether we were sad, whether we had a lot of money, whether we had a little bit of money, we always dated. All right, we always dated. And so there are simply 5 things that I want to share with you to really get you to understand that your relationship is your responsibility. We know today that over 50% of marriages, 50% of the people who get married, their marriages end in divorce. And I'm not judging anyone. That's not what this scope is about. This is for those of you who are married and who want to stay married, and you're trying to figure out what in the world can you do to shore up, enhance, and make your marriage stronger. And I am a major advocate for dating. So here are my general dating ground rules is that I date myself every single week for 90 minutes a week. That's my self-care, all right, for myself. I date my husband routinely at least every other week, all right, because as a standing order date, we did this when the kids were young. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit about that for those moms who have young kids that say, we can't go out, we can't afford a babysitter. I'm going to break all of that down for you. And I date my kids individually once a month. All right. So I believe that, you need to build a culture within your family that really promotes intimacy and connection. And I think dating is a really great way to do that. So the first reason that I think dating is so critical for us as women or as men who want to have a great connection with your spouse is that it improves connection. So when you date your partner, you have an opportunity to have a connection with them. And one of the things that I know from coaching tons of clients, hundreds of clients, some who have great marriages and some who have compromised marriages and some who have had, who are long gone, who are divorced multiple times over. One of the things that almost all of my clients talk about or they crave, they talk about either they lacked or they crave is connection with their partner. And dating is a really great way you can solve that. That's like if you know that in your relationship that the connection isn't what you want it to be, that that you guys aren't as close as you would like, that you don't know each other in the way that you did when you were dating initially before you got married, then to me, start dating. And what I recommend is do standing order dates. If you have young kids, standing order date works great. Get a teenager from a local college. This is what we always did when our kids were younger. Now they're older. They can watch themselves when we go out. But we used to get a kid that was about a sophomore in a college, and she would come over every Friday. Okay, every single Friday she'd come over, and whether Pat and I had a date or not planned, she was going to be at our house. And I found that standing order dates is a really great way to ensure that you are going to be accountable to your relationship, that you guys are both going to show up for one another because the babysitter is going to show up. And for those of you who are saying, we don't have the budget for that, divorce is way more expensive. Like not to sacrifice, $40 for a date. Okay. You could go to Starbucks for a date. You could go to the movies, right? You could go to the movies for the date. So not sacrifice that, small amount of money so that you can improve the connection when ultimately it impacts so much more. It allows you to model for your children what love really looks like. It allows you to have a level of security within your home, within yourself, in your relationship. And so to me, there are costs that come with us not making always the sacrifices or not always even thinking about things properly as it relates to dating our spouse. But number one, it improves connection. It allows you to have something in common with your partner because you guys did something together. And there's so many couples that are running around in and out in a home together every single day, and they have no connection, right? Like they have nothing to talk about. That's just between the two of them because everything that maybe you're doing relates to the kids or relates to work, and you need some you time, some us time, all right? All right. So the second thing is that it builds intimacy. So when you decide that you are going to date your partner, it's an intimate time, right? Yeah. Did I hit somebody? All right. It allows you to build intimacy with your partner. And so, let's just say that maybe your husband's trying to get to third base before you guys have gotten to first base. Wink, wink. You're always tired, already sleepy, you're kind of grumpy. But if you start dating, it allows you to build intimacy within your relationship. And so you won't feel like this is a third base move, right? You will know that, as a result of sitting next to him when you guys are going out or sharing something together, maybe ice cream sundae or something really very simple, you begin to build intimacy, closeness, connection, and that leads to other things for both of you. Couples have different needs. Like some people, have a need to, you guys have probably read the book, The 5 Love Languages, right? Really great book. If you haven't read it by, I think it's Gary Chapman that wrote that book. The fact of the matter matter. Some people have a need to have quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, or gifts, right? So we all have different love languages he talks about in that book, and it's really powerful for couples. But one of the things I will say is that, dating is a really terrific way to be able to, one, build connection, and also two, to build intimacy in your relationship, because you guys are looking into each other's eyes. You have opportunity to hold hands. Sometimes if you have kids and you're out with them, you can't even hold hands, right? Or have a conversation. Somebody's spilling a drink, falling on the floor. Things are just going on when you are a parent. And so that's not great time to have spouse time with your kids in the middle of that. You really have to insist on us time. Number three, is that it shows commitment. And the fact of the matter is, I know that great relationships are committed relationships. My husband and I, we would say to each other, I'm not going anywhere. And he's like, and I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not leaving and you're not leaving. All right. And so commitment is like the foundation for all great relationships. Commitment is the foundation for any relation, anything that you're serious about. And dating is such, we in this, right? So dating is such a great way to really, it's a physical manifestation really of your commitment. It's like, I'm waiting for you. And one of the things I will say to you ladies out there, because maybe you have a spouse that doesn't invite you out on dates a lot, right? And then a lot of times we struggle around that. Like if you want to go out and I did this too, and he doesn't know what you want to do. And sometimes you don't even know what you want to do. So you end up staying home or feeling frustrated because he didn't ask you out and all this. One of the things that I learned is just like, let me make this easy. I just started researching stuff I wanted to do, and I came up with a list of what I wanted to do, and I put it on the fridge. You can now text it if that's what you're into. I would just tell him, I would call him and say, hey, babe, this is in town. I would like to see it. And, one of the things I've found is that sometimes you got to help a brother out. Like sometimes if you just tell them what it is that you want to do, if you tell them what you want to do, it makes it so much easier than when they have to guess. Okay. Because see, if you keep telling them over and over again different things that you want to do, then eventually they know what you like to do. And then they might make some recommendations, okay? And my husband always said to me, like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I will tell you the second thing, the guys get frustrated around it, and then they pick something that you didn't want to do, and then they get judged around it. And so they're just like, I don't want to deal with this. It's a lot easier not to date. So just pick the things you want to do, tell them when you want to do it, and go do those things. You'll be really happy about doing those things. And it doesn't really matter who picks it at the end of the day, right? It doesn't really matter who picks it. All that matters is that you guys have quality time together. I had to make a shift around that. And I will tell you that a lot of times we get this really mixed up. We think that because they're guys, that they need to be able to have a telepathic gene and be able to read our minds and know what we want to do exactly. And that somehow equates to love. And that's not really true, and it's not really real. What is really true and real is that if there's a place that you really like and he would love to go there with you, choose the places, and then you guys can, go there. Make that part really easy so that, for him to say yes, and for you guys to get out, you know what I mean? Do you love this shirt? I have all these entrepreneurial shirts, Latasha. I have so many. I have maybe like, I don't know, 30, 40 entrepreneurial t-shirts that I wear. Okay. All right. So, okay, that's you guys good with this? All right. Number 4 is that it improves communication. All right. So when you are dating your partner, okay, so it's one of the reasons that you left your ex-wife, no matter what, she was not thankful. And, let me talk about this for a second before I go on. Part of it is that when women don't know what to ask for, okay, it is likely because she is not dating herself. Okay, I just want to break this down. Now, this is an ouch moment. So imagine that you don't remember. My first rule is like date yourself once a week, date your spouse every other week, and date your kids individually once a month. Well, the fact of the matter is, If you don't spend time alone to know what you like, it's hard to inform the process. The fact of the matter is, if you ever want to add value to a relationship, you have to first add value to yourself. So you can't add value to a relationship if you come on empty. So I can't add value to my relationship if I'm expecting Pat to read my mind because I don't know what I want to do. So somehow I want him to help me figure out what I want to do. And it's a target we're trying to shoot, but I don't even know if that's really what I want. So the reason that a lot of us don't have success in our relationships is because we, as women, I'm talking about the women right now, we don't practice self-care. We don't have any alone time to get clear about who we are, what we want, what we need, what fulfills us, what we like, what brings us joy. And as a result of that, we can't even add value to our own relationships because of it, right? So guys feel tremendously pressured around that. I've done all these things. Let me just tell you, okay, I've done all these things wrong and figured out how to get it right. And I think it's important to talk about it. And, you know, my thing is I've been coaching clients for so long. One of the things I know is that I don't care how much money you make. At the end of the day, you can't hug money. Okay. So let's be clear about this. All right. At the end of the day, what makes your life meaningful is having people in your life that matter. It doesn't mean that, you know, you got to have something that's bigger than money. All right. And let's be clear about it, because when you think about like a channel like Periscope or, you know, or Facebook Live, these are wonderful tools to be able to, you know, to grow your business. And sometimes I think at times we all get so focused on money, 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 but we forget that really your life informs your business. So what we're talking about tonight is, you know, one of the most important topics to me, which is understanding that divorce is way more expensive than dating. So there's a price to be paid for divorce. You know, not only the financial, you know, costs as a result of breaking up and then having to divide up assets, okay? But we're talking about the psychic costs. We're talking about the emotional costs. We're talking about your children and what goes along with that if you have kids. We're talking about the attachment, that the residual attachment of resentment and distrust in other relationships as a result of what you go through. So it's a lot. Yeah, yes, it's a lot. It's a lot, right? So let's be clear about all of these things. And I think sometimes the people focus so much on material things, or we focus so much on making money, 6 figures this and 7 figures that, and how to make $5 in 2 minutes and all of these things. But at the end of the day, none of these things are what will make you happy. What makes you happy is having a solid relationship that you're in with people that you absolutely love, that you can share your joy, your brilliance with, that love you, you love them back. That to me is a fulfilling and joyous life. It makes everything else you have that much richer. All right. So I just want to be clear about that. And that's always my come from with my, my clients. All right. So number 4, the fourth way that I believe, thank you so much. The fourth thing that I believe dating does for you is it improves communication within your relationship. I will tell you that our general rule is if we are getting along great, we're going out. If we're not getting along great, we're going out. Okay? If we're getting along great, we're going to go out. If we're not getting along great, we are going to go out. So we do standing order dates. We always go out. We go out no matter what. We go out all the time. And what it does is it creates a forum for us to communicate with one another, all right, without distraction. It takes us, it just gives us an opportunity to be able to look at the person as that person and spend some quality time with them and to begin talking about all kinds of things. So whether we're talking about the news, most of the time now we don't talk about the kids really that much, right? Yeah, we're going out no matter what. Like that's our thing. And I think it should be your thing too. And I think a lot of couples forget this part. They think if you're not getting along, then you change what you're doing that day. No. If you're not getting along, you say, I will see you at 9:00 and we are meeting at this place and we are going to have dinner. That's right. Okay. And that's how your relationship becomes great. And that's how you don't make small things big things. Communication is key to great relationships. And a lot of people who end up divorced, they can't get through that. Well, one of the things that I've learned over the years is that That's my responsibility, is to hold the place. Past responsibility, we got to hold the place when the other person's feeling weak, when the other person's feeling stubborn, when the other person doesn't know how to love from that place where, like, of their hurt, or maybe it's that you don't know how to be vulnerable when you're hurting. Just go out, just say, hey, I want to take you out today. It's like, I don't want to go anywhere with you. That's okay. I already booked a restaurant, and that's right. We're going to meet there, and you're going to have a great time because you're my husband, and I love you anyway, even if you get on my nerves, because they're going to get on your nerves, and you're going to get on their nerves too. But that's okay. Communication. So communication is an important part of the process, and I think so often, like, we have these ideas about, being in a relationship, and that it all has to be happiness all the time. And the fact of the matter is, who's happy every day? I don't care if you're in a relationship or not in a relationship. Like, just dealing with yourself. Is it normal just to be in a state of happiness every day? No. Okay. And so it's certainly not realistic in a relationship where you're interacting with other people either. And I think a lot of us, we just have to grow up. And we haven't seen our parents maybe even mirror for us how to manage these things, how to improve connection through dating. Because if you didn't have parents that date, likely your blueprint is blank in that area. Number two, maybe your parents weren't dating. Maybe you never saw your parents hold hands or kiss. My kids all like, oh my gosh, please quit it. You know what I'm saying? Like yesterday. So for example, right, we were in the dining room, and that song, Lower, Lower, Lower. Lower, 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 lower. I don't sing right, okay? But it's the Gene song, okay? So anyway, because, I had been working out and my body was so sore, and I said, Pat, I'm not sore anymore. And I said, I can go lower, 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 right? So the fact of the matter is, my kids were like, oh my goodness, right? Like, this is so crazy. But maybe you grew up in a family where you never saw your parents be playfully intimate. And as a result of that, it's part of your blueprint is blank. This is why you've got a date. Or maybe you've never seen what commitment really looks like, right? I know, right? Like, ew, mom, right? So, or maybe, you've never seen what real commitment looks like. Like maybe the people in your family, the guys and the girls, when things get hard, they say, I don't have to take this, and they leave. And this is your opportunity to reshape that for your family, right? And create something completely new. Other than my grandparents, there were no examples of anyone being married more than 5 years in my family. Yeah. Yeah. So this is your opportunity to change your family culture. How cool is that? Or maybe communication. Like maybe the only thing you've ever seen or witnessed are people who are arguing or yelling, or they don't know how to express love to one another in a kind way. And dating is a really great start to begin to change some of these things. And the fifth thing is it's romantic. And while guys don't always like to admit that they like romance, okay, but they do. All right. The fact of the matter is, we know that girls do like romance. And I can't think of a better way or better start to build romance than to date. Now, you might be saying, hey, look, dating is expensive. It's not expensive. You can date at home. You can create a dating box. I've done this over the years. In a dating box, particularly when your kids are young, you can put things in the dating box, like a movie that you guys want to see, maybe some popcorn, maybe some like movie snacks. When the kids go down upstairs, you guys just have a date downstairs. There are express dates that you can do right at your house. You can date if you have a patio or a balcony, or a backyard. You could pop a bottle of bubbly, have some little chocolates with some strawberries that you plant. It could be a quick express date. So dating and having romance in your home, this is really something very simple. All you have to do is think about it. We won't even discuss the fact that, you can leave little notes. This is a nice way to also let your husband know, I'll meet you for coffee, let's have a drink, just like you would when you had first met him or when you first met her. You guys would just meet like impromptu. Nothing stops you from doing those things now. And if you have young children, I do recommend a standing order babysitter. Let me tell you, that works for me. I hired a sophomore education major, and she would stay with me her sophomore year, junior and senior year while she was in college. She would come every Friday to our home, every Friday. I know, every Friday night. And when she would come, Pat and I had to figure out what we wanted to do. And so we became really good at figuring out what kind of dates that we wanted to have with one another. And then when she would turn in her senior year, she would then introduce me to another sophomore. And I wanted the continuity of the babysitter. Like, I wanted a babysitter that I knew like kids. Education majors usually like kids. And then secondly, I wanted a babysitter that the kids got to know over a period of time. Education majors, they love to read to the kids. They usually have other special talents because they want to be educators. So it's perfect, right? So, consider that. Or you can also switch with a friend, like a friend that's been trying to date her husband forever. And you listen, I'll take Saturday nights, you take Fridays. I'll watch your children, you watch my children. So you guys get to date. So get creative with it instead of saying, I can't date. There is a price of not dating. And it really is that you won't have connection in your relationship. You'll be walking past your spouse and you guys won't hardly know one another. It means that your intimacy will be compromised, not as close as you need to be and could be. It means that, things might not be feeling as romantic as you would like it to be. And, let's be clear, as women, we start having conversations in our minds when we're not feeling romance. You might be feeling like I'm not beautiful and all of these things. Don't even deal with that. That's the price. That's a big price to pay when all you got to do is date to keep things alive. And, it allows you to stay committed to one another. It allows you to show up for one another. It's so important, right? It allows you to keep communicating with one another. And I can tell you, if you can keep those lines of communication open, then over time, small things don't even matter. I mean, the big things, we don't even really have big things anymore. Like, because we've dated so much that we know one another, and that's the whole point. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys today. The cost of divorce is high, and and your kids are impacted as a result of it. You're emotionally, you're impacted, your finances are impacted, and all you've got to do right now is just drum up a couple of dollars to have a cup of coffee with your spouse in a consistent way. And what you're really saying is that I care about you, and caring about you means that it's a non-negotiable not to spend time with you, right? Thank you. Yeah, I know you love this, Latasha. I know you love this, all right? So I just wanted to open the floor really quickly. Usually I teach about business. This is going to go in scope school, but this was on my heart today. This is a message that I wanted to share with you guys because it's so important to get this, right? Because so many people have great relationships and some have had to walk away from those relationships. And if they just had someone that said, why don't you guys just try dating one another? You know what I mean? Why don't you just spend some time together? All right? You guys consistently say that no matter what, we're going to go out until we like it. What about that? Why don't you guys just do that and try to make that work? And thank you so much, right? Great example. Your life informs your business. And I have to say, we just celebrated our 21st wedding anniversary in December. But you guys know, you guys, my great clients know, you guys are something else, I just have to say. And I'm going to tell you something you don't hear every day. I have a dream about, oh my goodness. I'm having some afternoon tea here. You need to have some of that. It's like you need to drink something like afternoon tea or something like maybe chamomile is something like that. But any questions for you guys? If this goes support you guys, this support you guys, and my only hope is to really support you in thinking a little differently about having a great relationship. It's non-negotiable for me not to have a great relationship. And dating is one component in the wheel that's really important in terms of being able to realize the success that you want in your marriage, right? So are there any final questions or comments? And thank you so much. I appreciate it, Shayla. And if not, then I'm going to sign off, right? I want to thank you guys for your time tonight. I'm meeting